Now then, this is going to seem really complicated the first time I go through it, probably the second time. You need to watch this a couple of times to get your head around it, but it's incredibly powerful and actually very easy, and generally speaking, you only have to do the work once, and it can make a heck of a difference to you getting lots more subscribers all the time. Now, subscribers are very good because every time you add a new film, your subscribers are told. It's also one of the measures that YouTube can use. If somebody subscribes to your channel, then we all know what we're like about not wanting to sign up for emails and things. If someone subscribes, what you're saying to YouTube is, dear YouTube, every time this person produces a new film, I want to be told about it. And that's a great measure of how powerful, how liked your channel is. So we want more subscribers. And the easiest way to get more subscribers is to ask for more subscribers. And the silly thing is that people don't do that. Couple of ways of doing it, and obviously you can put it in your description. Click here to subscribe. That's taken as read, I hope, at this stage. You've got your description box. You want some links in there. One of them is click here to subscribe to my channel. You've got annotations. Now, what I do with annotations, I don't put on the annotation, click here to subscribe. When you're, in effect, selling something to somebody, it's a two-way thing. You've got to give them a reason to buy, in this case, to subscribe. So I put, see other films like this, see even more films, or depending on your particular niche or niche, you can talk about a little bit, see more films about whatever it is you talk about, whoever use that in annotations. The problem with those is that if somebody clicks on the annotation, that film freezes, a new window opens where they can subscribe or watch other films, and it's a bit of a pain. There isn't a better way of doing it that I can think of, and the great brains at YouTube have never thought of anything better, but it's still a bit of a pain. So here's a great way of doing it, because people want to watch the whole of your film. We want to produce what in filmmaking is known as an end slate. Strange title, but a slate is normally that sort of clapperboard that you see when people make films for cinema and things. Then they click and other details on. The end slate is a thing that appears at the end of your film. Now, I would suggest you normally keep these on the screen for about 10 seconds. I'm going to show you how to make one really easily, and then you can add it to each of your films. It takes a few more seconds each time for each film, but it's well worth it because people get to the end of your film, and then what do they see? A call for action, as it's called. They want a request for them to subscribe. So let's assume that I've got this film here, which isn't going to work. Let's just drag that down. I've got a film there on a Japanese tea garden. It's 19 seconds. It's a very short film, but we'll ignore that for the second. What I'm going to do is press the little close button here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to this button. I'm in the YouTube editor, incidentally. I hope you all recognise that by now. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on text, and I'm going to use this one, centered title. Now I'm going to drag that before the film. All right. First thing you notice that as standard is 2 seconds, so I'm going to drag that out till it's about 10 seconds. Now you can spot my mistake. It's an end slate, so we actually need to move it to the end. So there it is. It's at the end. So put the end slate at the end is a good place for it. Now then, what do I want to put in here? We want to say see more films. Just notice this will take a few seconds to update because this is working on YouTube's servers. Like this. Click here. This is just example wording that I'm making it easy for you. I would suggest that you use your own wording, so see more films, like the sort of thing that you've seen in films that you've seen or whatever. So relevant to your niche, whatever your niche is, see more films about horses, see more films about children playing or whatever. Now, what you want to do is not to say subscribe, because that's a bit like asking, oh, can I have your email address and so on. Seeing more films like that, what you want to do later is make that a link to your subscribe page on YouTube. That's really easy to do, and we'll deal with that in a second. So you can see here we've got an end slate there. It's not brilliant, and so you want to make a bit of colour. Give that a few seconds for YouTube to catch up there. And very artistic. I'm no artist, trust me, you probably realise that now. But I'm just going to show you the sort of things that you can do, because you can make this once, make it look nice, and it can look really good. Let's just show you, let's make that text a bit bigger. And again, it takes a few seconds. This isn't brilliant, but it gives you an idea of what to do and to play with it. And obviously the important thing is if you've got a very bright, shiny channel and so on, then you can use bright, shiny text fonts, bright, shiny colours, things that are very lively and happy and so on. That one is extremely bright. It's probably going to give me a migraine. Let's just turn that background down a bit. There we go, let's make it a little bit better. So still pretty bad, but you get the idea anyway. So you can make the fonts bold, italic, you can make the fonts different sizes, and you can have fonts like Budmo Jiggish. Jigglish. That's a new one on me, that is. But actually built into here, there's a good selection of fonts. The important thing is to make it really easy to read. So I think this font, yeah, that's not bad actually. But it does depend on what you want to do. If you've got a serious film, then obviously something like Arial is something you're dealing with as a serious matter. Then you can do something like that. Perhaps we'll put a little colon in there. Just make that a little bit better. And you can see it takes a few seconds to render. And that's all ready. And if we just play that, no animation, nothing happens on it, but you've got 10 seconds of film there. Okay. Now what I suggest you do is don't have another film in here. Let me just remove that for a second. We've just got the actual end slate there. What I suggest you do is you save it as end slate so you can find it easily. And that you publish that so you've always got it and you remember the name of it. Saving it as end slate, even all one word, might even be easier. Okay. Then when you next upload a film or you next use the video editor or however you do it, don't publish that film, publish it as private. Then you can go to your editor, you can find the film in here or in Creative Commons or wherever you're going. So you can then add that film and the end slate together. Does that make sense? So save the film just as end slate, and then every time you upload a film thereafter, end slate is saved up here for you. You've not published it, but you can drag it to the end of your film, and that's a nice easy way of adding end slates. So you've got your film. Let's suppose that's the film that I did. Let's go back to that one again. You've then got a complete film there ready. You can play the whole thing. I think that's going to play, so stop that before it starts playing music. Oops. Very low quality on this preview. Now then, how do you get people to actually then subscribe? Well, very easy. What we said about annotations, one of the annotations is a great big box. So when you've sent your film, you've published it to your site, you can then go to your annotations, add your calls to action in the top in your normal video editor when you're editing the film, so adding annotations. But for the bit at the end, you can draw a big box. Let's just move the camera to that. I'll just pause that. So you draw one of those big boxes around that, and you make that a subscription link. I did say at the beginning of this several minutes ago, it's quite complicated to follow. It's an easy thing to do, but it's an impossible thing to describe. And I spent the last hour or so doing various rehearsals of this, trying to work out the best way of explaining it. And what I've just done there is the best that I could do. But at its simplest, make an end slate, save it, and then as you make future films, you go into the video editor, you go and find your film or your Creative Commons or your own film, you drag that in, you'll then search for your end slate, and here's, if I go in here, I think I did one earlier, in fact it's there's one that I've done. I can then drop that in, and if we just play that, give it a second, this is going to be a very bad example. Click here now to see more. Again, a little bit more appealing that, but it's very, very easy to do, to see more of your particular niche or whatever. So the secret is not to say click here to subscribe, because, well, what's in it for me? Why should I subscribe if you enjoyed your film? But if you say click here to see more films about, or more films that show this, or more exciting films, a little bit about your niche and things, people are interested. They've actually got to the end of your film. They're obviously interested in it. They want to see more. This is a great way to get them to do it. And by making the annotation a subscribe link, so they have to subscribe, that adds more people to your subscriptions. YouTube likes that because obviously it's showing that more people are subscribing, therefore your films must be liked. And also every time you make a film, YouTube sends a message out to all those people who subscribed and say, hey, there's a new film out, it's called this, and so on. All right, right, easy way to do end slates. Sorry it took so complicated to explain, but it's actually much easier to do. Just have a mess with some of the colours and things that you can do. You can mess with even the filters and things. You can do all sorts of things there and just make it look really quite weird. I think when that comes up, that's not going to work very well, but you can do all sorts of effects and things. But generally, get some text that fits the sort of style that you do, font that you do, and so on. You can make quite a nice film. That's end slates, really easy to do. So just to show that in a little bit more detail, there's the actual end slate that I made. All you need to do is go to Add Annotation, and what you want is a spotlight. Not very clear against a black background, but there's a box there as a maximum size you can do. I'll drag that out as best as I can. Let's just make that a bit bigger, and down there. There we go. Sorry, I'm not going to. It's because of the trackpad that I'm using rather than a mouse, it's not so easy. So let's just try that once more, drag that out a bit more. There we go. I'm getting there, but I just need to drag it out a wee bit more as well. There is a maximum size as well, which drives me mad. There we go. So we've got that now. So anybody clicks within that zone, there's a spotlight. You don't need any text for a spotlight, remember. You want it for the whole length of the end slate in this case. So you just drag those ends out or change the time there 10 seconds. And then the link you want is in here to subscribe, and in there goes the name of your channel. So in my case it's ALUNHLL, and that will then make the whole of that box. Anybody clicks on that, a whole new tab will open in their browser, and you can see just at the top there that will take them to my subscription page automatically, and if they click there they will subscribe, and that's great because that's what we want to do. So very easy. It's a spotlight and it's very easy to drag that out. You don't need any text or anything. You can if you want. There are ways of adding text and things there, but to make it nice and simple, click here now, but you can have a mess with it if you want to do something a little bit more advanced. Here's an absolutely wonderful, I just love this program. It's a great way to get lots more views, lots more subscribers, and frankly lots more fame, which in turn brings you more views and more subscribers. Tell you straight away, you need a smartphone to get this going, and as you can see from this screen, we're talking about Flipboard. And if you've got a BlackBerry, an iOS or an Android device or a Windows device, and you haven't got Flipboard, go and get it anyway, because it's beyond doubt my favourite app, one that I just use all the time. I love it to pieces. If you don't know what it is, or even if you do or not thought about it, at its simplest, you can create your own online magazine using Flipboard. It's been out nearly 2 years now, I think, but updated enormously last year. I've done some experimenting with it, got lots of views and subscribers, so I can now happily recommend it to you. The first thing you must do, though, is you need to go to flipboard.com, and you need to go on your smartphone and download the actual program. You cannot set up an account from the desktop. You must do it from a smartphone. So let's just say that first of all. So go to the App Store, Google Play, Windows Store, BlackBerry World, blah, blah, or get the SMS link, whatever. But you need to do that on your smartphone first. So let me just close that window. And the site, I say, is flipboard.com, and it allows you to curate, in your own words, your own magazines, and they look terrific. Every week they pick a particular magazine. One of mine was chosen one of the first weeks, and that brought in thousands of views, which was a nice little bonus. Lots of sections here, and they highlight each week new ones. I'm just going to go into the travel section here and just show you what this looks like. Now this is obviously a desktop I'm using for this, and it does look slightly different and slightly better on a smartphone, but you'll get the idea. These are magazines, and you can see the various situations there and the covers and so on. But each of these magazines has been curated, has been created by a person just like you and I. And at its simplest, that's the magazine cover, and it's very easy to choose a screen grab from one of your YouTube films and make that the cover. And if we click on that, let's give it a second to come up. Those of you who don't know, I'm on a satellite connection here, which cost me an arm and a leg, but normal internet connection here is a joke, basically. I think it's the best way of saying it. Okay, that might not be too clear on this. I think it's starting to come through now, but this is somebody who's called that. I'm going to try and read that, and you can see he's had 187,000 page flips. He's got 765 different articles in there, and I'll come back to articles in a second, and he's got 6,800 subscribers on here in total. Now, an article can be a news article that you've seen in the press that you can just flip into this. It can be a picture, but from our point of view, it can easily be a YouTube video. And from the app, it's an absolute piece of cake to copy your videos into this. That means that you can set up a magazine of your own. Everybody with a smartphone in the world can subscribe to that. And every time you add a new film, add it to your Flipboard. Your subscribers, if they wish, will then be told you've added a new film. And it looks absolutely amazing. And you can see, you can get lots of views. And this is all automatically set up for you, all these things. It's really easy. So can you see the arrow on the right here? On a smartphone, you do this with your finger. I'm obviously doing it with a mouse. But you can see how the pages flip over, just like a magazine. It's going a little bit quick here. But you can see in this magazine all these stories, in this case, pictures and so on. But anybody can, let's just go to another one. Let's take this one. We can look at that. It opens it up in the original site, in this case in National Geographic, and that will then play in that new window. Just going to go back. You can actually also embed videos and so on in here. People can play them, but the play count, so if somebody plays it from within the app, increases your number of viewers by the number of times the film is played, just as though it was in YouTube. So although they're watching it on their smartphone and they're nowhere near a desktop or whatever, if someone watches your YouTube film on here, then they count the number of people who have watched your film goes up, so it actually all counts. The other thing is, and I keep stressing this about annotations, your annotations also appear, and because it's embedded, people can then subscribe to your channel as well, and they can see all your various things, go to other films and so on. And of course you would encourage them in YouTube, in Flipboard, to also watch your, to subscribe to your channel in Flipboard. Let me just go back there. Sorry, you can see you've got editions for various countries around the world. Okay, so if we look at the Turkish edition, no, it's Taiwan, sorry, but I'm going to regret this. It's going to be in Taiwanese now, as you can see that coming. And just give that a few seconds to come up. And there we are. The same thing there, but in different languages, but there's also lots of things even here in Taiwanese. Goodness knows what that says, and so on and so forth. So let's go back to the United States edition, which I think is where I started. There we go. And there's just thousands and thousands of these. Now, the great thing is that what you can do is put an announcement to your subscribers and on your links on each video that you upload. See us on Flipboard, which makes you look, wow, they've got a proper Flipboard application, makes you look like a magazine publisher. And that means more likely that people will be able to watch your films and be suitably impressed by it. You see that flicking over there as I go through these things. All right, I have to say that it's a recent addition to a desktop, and I'm on a Mac here, and that's not brilliant, but it's still quite good. But when you see this on a smartphone, I use it on the iPad, I say, all the time, and it's just stunning. There's no two ways about it. I mean, just amazing. And any subject, whatever your particular niche or niche is on YouTube, and if you've got several, you can have several of these, not a problem. And there you are. You choose the graphic that appears on the front page. I suggest you, as you add a new video, you just press one button once you're in Flipboard, and that will update your front page. And if you're interested in craft beer or whatever, you can do so. One other thing this is really useful for, I keep my voice down because I want you to listen hard to this bit. Here are loads and loads and loads of niches. So we've got one here on craft beer, for example. Okay, we can go back to the home of that. Sorry, I need to come back. It's easier to do on a desktop, as I say. But we can actually see how many articles it's got, how many readers it's got. He's got 3,500 readers, so that's 3,500. It's a great way of finding out if you're looking for niches and so on, looking for a niche that you might want to be able to find, see what you want to be able to do. So a great way of finding niches, a great way of getting new views, and you become a publisher of your own magazine with a nice logo and things, a nice URL, I should say, and it's all from an app, and it's all free. And don't forget, once you've set up one of these, put a link to it in your videos, put it in the description, see our Flipboard page, see our Flipboard magazine, see us on Flipboard with a link to your URL, and that'll work really rather well. Enjoy. Here's an absolutely wonderful, I just love this program. It's a great way to get lots more views, lots more subscribers, and frankly lots more fame, which in turn brings you more views and more subscribers. Tell you straight away, you need a smartphone to get this going, and as you can see from this screen, we're talking about Flipboard. And if you've got a BlackBerry, an iOS or an Android device or a Windows device, and you haven't got Flipboard, go and get it anyway, because it's beyond doubt my favourite app, one that I just use all the time. I love it to pieces. If you don't know what it is, and if you do or not thought about it, at its simplest, you can create your own online magazine using Flipboard. It's been out nearly 2 years now, I think, but updated enormously last year. I've done some experimenting with it, got lots of views and subscribers, so I can now happily recommend it to you. The first thing you must do, though, is you need to go to flipboard.com and you need to go on your smartphone and download the actual program. You cannot set up an account from the desktop. You must do it from a smartphone. So let's just say that first of all. So go to the App Store, Google Play, Windows Store, BlackBerry World, blah, blah, or get the SMS link, whatever. But you need to do that on your smartphone first. So let me just close that window. And the site, I say, is flipboard.com, and it allows you to curate, in your own words, your own magazines, and they look terrific. Every week they pick a particular magazine. One of mine was chosen one of the first weeks, and that brought in thousands of views, which was a nice little bonus. Lots of sections here, and they highlight each week new ones. I'm just going to go into the travel section here and just show you what this looks like. Now this is obviously a desktop I'm using for this, and it does look slightly different and slightly better on a smartphone, but you'll get the idea. These are magazines, and you can see the various situations there and the covers and so on. But each of these magazines has been curated, has been created by a person just like you and I. And at its simplest, that's the magazine cover, and it's very easy to choose a screen grab from one of your YouTube films and make that the cover. And if we click on that, let's give it a second to come up. Those of you who don't know, I'm on a satellite connection here, which cost me an arm and a leg. But normal internet connection here is a joke, basically. I think it's the best way of saying it. Okay, that might not be too clear on this. I think it's starting to come through now. But this is somebody who's called that. I'm going to try and read that. And you can see he's had 187,000 page flips. He's got 765 different articles in there. And I'll come back to articles in a second. And he's got 6,800 subscribers on here in total. Now, an article can be a news article that you've seen in the press that you can just flip into this. It can be a picture, but from our point of view, it can easily be a YouTube video. And from the app, it's an absolute piece of cake to copy your videos into this. That means that you can set up a magazine of your own. Everybody with a smartphone in the world can subscribe to that. And every time you add a new film, add it to your Flipboard. Your subscribers, if they wish, will then be told you've added a new film. And it looks absolutely amazing. And you can see, you can get lots of views, and this is all automatically set up for you, all these things. It's really easy. So, can you see the arrow on the right here? On a smartphone, you do this with your finger. I'm obviously doing it with a mouse. But you can see how the pages flip over, just like a magazine. It's going a little bit quick here. But you can see in this magazine all these stories, in this case, pictures and so on. But anybody can, let's just go to another one. Let's take this one. We can look at that. It opens it up in the original site, in this case in National Geographic, and that will then play in that new window. Just going to go back. You can actually also embed videos and so on in here. People can play them, but the play count, so if somebody plays it from within the app, increases your number of viewers by the number of times the film is played, just as though it was in YouTube. So although they're watching it on their smartphone and they're nowhere near a desktop or whatever, if someone watches your YouTube film on here, then they count, the number of people who have watched your film goes up, so it actually all counts. The other thing is, and I keep stressing this about annotations, your annotations also appear, and because it's embedded, people can then subscribe to your channel as well, and they can see all your various things, go to other films and so on. And of course you would encourage them in YouTube, in Flipboard, to also watch your, to subscribe to your channel in Flipboard. Let me just go back there. Sorry, you can see you've got editions for various countries around the world. Okay, so if we look at the Turkish edition, no, it's Taiwan, sorry, but I'm going to regret this. It's going to be in Taiwanese now, as you can see that coming. And just give that a few seconds to come up. And there we are. The same thing there, but in different languages, but there's also lots of things even here in Taiwanese. Goodness knows what that says, and so on and so forth. So let's go back to the United States edition, which I think is where I started. There we go. And there's just thousands and thousands of these. Now, the great thing is that what you can do is put an announcement to your subscribers and on your links on each video that you upload. See us on Flipboard, which makes you look, wow, they've got a proper Flipboard application, makes you look like a magazine publisher. And that means more likely that people will be able to watch your films and be suitably impressed by it. You see that flicking over there as I go through these things. All right, I have to say that it's a recent addition to a desktop, and I'm on a Mac here, and that's not brilliant, but it's still quite good. But when you see this on a smartphone, I use it on the iPad, I say, all the time, and it's just stunning. There's no two ways about it. I mean, just amazing. And any subject, whatever your particular niche or niche is on YouTube, and if you've got several, you can have several of these, not a problem. And there you are. You choose the graphic that appears on the front page. I suggest you, as you add a new video, you just press one button once you're in Flipboard, and that will update your front page. And if you're interested in craft beer or whatever, you can do so. One other thing this is really useful for, I keep my voice down because I want you to listen hard to this bit, here are loads and loads and loads of niches. So we've got one here on craft beer, for example. Okay, we can go back to the home of that. Sorry, I need to come back. It's easier to do on a desktop, as I say. But we can actually see how many articles it's got, how many readers it's got. He's got 3,500 readers, so that's 3,500. It's a great way of finding out if you're looking for niches and so on, looking for a niche that you might want to be able to find, see what you want to be able to do. So a great way of finding niches, a great way of getting new views, and you become a publisher of your own magazine with a nice logo and things, a nice URL I should say, and it's all from an app and it's all free. And don't forget, once you've set up one of these, put a link to it in your videos, put it in the description, see our Flipboard page, see our Flipboard magazine, see us on Flipboard with a link to your URL, and that'll work really rather well. Enjoy! Now, under community, you've got a whole series of new settings, and YouTube are adding to these all the time. The first thing they show you is fans, and this is the help page for fans. What that tells you is that the fans page shows a list of some of your most engaged and influential fans. Basically, the people who have commented the most. It's also a combination of subscriber count and engagement level. You can sort it. Just needed to show you this. This only appears if your channel has a large enough number of subscribers. The large enough isn't defined. I know that's dropping every few weeks in YouTube's eyes, but you may not have this initially, but you will have that later. And what it tells you, you can see how many subscribers your fans have, how engaged they are with your channel, how often they comment, like, dislike and so on, a comment that they've left and how long they've been a subscriber, and then they get like a score based on how many comments, likes and subscribes and things they do. And if you're a Google Plus user, which most everybody is on YouTube these days, and if you're not, you should be, then if they haven't connected to Google Plus yet, that won't be shown, so they're in the process of updating that. So if I go back to this, in terms of fans, there's my top fans there, how many subscribers that person's got, the latest comments. I can add them to Google's, I can send messages and so on to them, and I've got various ways of sorting that. So this is a great way of knowing who to contact. If somebody like this person's got 547 subscribers on his own channel, this person's got 1,000 and so on and so forth, that's people that I want to engage with. I want to drop them email, I want to comment on their videos, I want them to tell people about my own channel, obviously. This is a new feature in Community Insights, and these are your top YouTube fans. These are the people who comment the most, are most active, and again this is all within Google Plus these days. Again, you can go from this. You've got, obviously in my case, loads of people there. You've got to learn more, you can find more about it. But these are people who are most engaged with you, your top fans. If you engage back with them, then you can comment back to them, and again they can spread the word about your channel, because obviously they've seen one of your videos, they've commented enough times or liked or subscribed and so on and so forth, and that's a great help. And add them to your Google Plus circles, and that will make an enormous difference, I promise. Now this is the community comments section. Now this is going to be updated very quickly, and as soon as it is, I'll update this video, because at the moment it's frankly not a lot of good because it doesn't actually work. For example, I've got minus 147 pending comments. Not possible, and if I refresh the page it changes. The idea of this page is that you can actually reply, you can see your comments, which certainly works on it. I can see loads of comments, but and I can see who made it, which video it is, I can thumbs it, I can say I like it, I can put it in the bin, I can report it as spam or abuse or whatever. And you can see the spam ones that are marked as spam and remove them, and anything pending I can go through that needs to be approved or whatever. I tend to approve almost every comment automatically. That's built into the system, but this isn't quite working at the moment. The intention of YouTube shortly is that from this I can actually reply to each of my people who have commented. Now that is absolutely crucial. I know it's time consuming, and I know some of the people are idiots. Did I say that out loud? But there's some very bright people out there. What you've got to remember is that a lot of the people who make these comments are the same people who call in, you know, those phone-in radio shows, and you sit there and think, how can people be so stupid? Well, if you're in the control room of the radio station, and I speak from experience here, The calls that get through and put through on air are not the ones, the bright, sensible, intelligent people. The ones that get through are the idiots, which is why you hear the idiots, because that encourages more people to ring. It encourages you to listen harder. If you're listening harder, you're probably listening to the commercials more as well. People who comment on YouTube, a lot of them are very sensible. All right, I love them to pieces and gain some friends literally all over the world amongst my subscribers. People I'll probably never meet, but if I'm in their town or city, yes, I will go and see them. We'll have a coffee and a chat. The great majority of people who've got the time to comment scare the life out of me and have no idea about the world. So don't worry about them. They are great entertainment for your sensible viewers, shall we call them. If there's a thread going and there's some funny comments and things on there, or comments that drive people mad or whatever, people will come back to your video. That's more watch time for your video. They're more likely to see your videos, your promotions, your programming and so on, and they're going to engage more, and Google's going to see that particular film as more important. So once this updates so you can actually type things individually, that's going to be a great help, and I can't wait for that. As you can see, I get an awful lot of comments that would make life a lot easier for me. Adult warning on this one, just there's a couple of adult words here, I'll just warn you on that. Not my fault, it's the fault of some of my commenters. This is comment settings. This is new and you really must do this. The first thing is approved users. Now on my videos, generally speaking, all comments are automatically approved, so anybody can put anything on. What you can do here now, which is a great idea of doing it, if you don't allow comments other than the ones that you prior approve them, which on a lot of channels is very necessary, particularly people are putting spam on or abuse or whatever, and if you're selling a product you only want certain reviews, you want certain comments or whatever, then you can set it here so that either names, circles or email addresses of people are automatically approved. You also get, if you've got channels like some of mine, you'll get some abuse, and these people have all been banned. So any of these people make a comment, this is very clever, are you ready for this? These comments will never be shown, nobody can see them. There's an exception though. All these people can actually see their own comments when they log into YouTube from their account. Nobody else can. So they can comment away. The only person who can see it is the particular person themselves and me as the owner of this channel. So they're merrily away, commenting away. I'm sat here killing myself laughing because they can't be seen. You can, I'm just going to scroll over this bit. I'm just going to try and bring that to the top because there's some swear words there. It's not going to happen. Best laid plans. Okay, give up on that. Words that you don't want to appear. We have people sometimes with a set of spamming where people are using rude words or sales things or whatever. So if anybody's messages includes that phrase earnpa.com, don't go there, then their comment will automatically not be allowed. So you could put competitors things in there or whatever. You've got some default settings here. In my case, on my new videos, I allow all comments, so I don't do anything about other than the people that I've banned from there. I can hold them for review or not allow comments. This is for videos from the time you change this going forward. It doesn't change retrospectively. So only from now on, but I've always set that as allow all comments. But remember, you can override that on individual films. And then you have the channel itself, the overall channel, and there, because I do get a lot of abuse there, it doesn't surprise me, but still, I hold all comments for review. That sends me a Google Plus or an email message, and that way I can look at them and approve what I want and what I don't. And you may think that's right or wrong. I'm not really bothered, frankly. Each of your channels, it's your own channel, decide what you do. But if you really think every newspaper and every television prints every comment they get in, well, it's not true. So that's the system there for comment settings, and you can go through that. There's a lot of options there. Just remember on these bits, this is new videos, so videos going forward I've set for allow all comments, but remember that you can override that for individual videos. Short film, this one, purely because on the inbox from your community this shows the latest messages you got, but the great majority of these now are sent by Google Plus and not to my inbox. I'm not too bothered about that. Still get a few, but you can see these, some here from January and earlier on, personal messages and so on and so forth. I haven't looked through some of these, so I need to do that, but the majority of stuff now comes through Google Plus, which frankly is a lot easier, not only for everybody else, but downside easier for me. So don't worry too much about your inbox. Just do what I haven't done there and just take a look at that. Obviously things like comments and so on I've looked at within Google Plus, or actually on the films themselves, and as other features become more prominent, like the comment settings rather than inbox. That'll make life a good bit easier as well. Channel settings. This has increased enormously in scope in recent months, and even some advanced YouTubers have not looked at all the options here. I'm going to start with features, and your screen will vary slightly from mine. I'm quite established within YouTube. I'm also with the full screen network there, which most people won't see. You'll see there's a separate video in this course about full screen and the advantages of that. But for the moment, yes, I'm full screen. I'm very happy there. What you always want to see here are greens. Green lights are good, so community guidelines, you've not breached any of the rules, you've not done anything naughty, you've not been abusive or whatever. Copyright, you haven't breached any copyright. Whatever you do, don't even be tempted in any way, shape or form to breach copyright. I can't teach copyright in this course, there's a separate film a little bit about it, but at its simplest, if you breach the sanctions, you're likely to use your YouTube account. Not a good idea. Content ID claims using somebody else's music and so on. Sometimes that can be allowed, but then you don't get the any monetization from it. The people who produce the music and so on can do that. So you don't really want that because you want to make the money on it. Anyway, community guidelines, copyright sanctions, content ID claims, you want all greens there. And ideally, as quick as you can, depending on how old your account is and how well established you are, you want greens here. So for example, longer videos, people who are new to YouTube can only upload videos up to about 15 minutes. The reason for that, quite simply, and YouTube confirmed it to me, is that people would upload TV programs which last at least half an hour and so on. That's not a good idea because it's a breach of copyright. Causes YouTube loads of grief because they've got to take them down, and leaves them open and you open obviously to breaches of copyright claims. So once you're established for a while, you can get longer videos than 15 minutes. And there is in effect no upper limit to how long the videos are. Longest video I've got is 10.5 hours. Yeah. External annotations, we mentioned this on the course, but this is an extra thing. You can link annotations to external sites or merchandising partners. See the annotations part of my course on that to see that, but that's a great extra thing to have. You can link to other sites or to partners to sell t-shirts, your music if you're in a band and so on. Once your site is accepted and approved by YouTube and they're happy, rather than them suggesting which of the 3 thumbnails you can use, you get the chance to use your own. Subscriptions, I don't have this because I'm with full screen at the moment. I can have it if I want it, but this is where you can charge people to actually see your channel. So you charge a monthly fee, you decide what you want to charge. YouTube decide if that's fair enough, and they take around about 30% of that. It will vary slightly, but around about 30% is fine. They will collect the money every month. Only the people who are subscribed will be able to watch your channel. It hasn't worked anything like as much as well as YouTube would have liked. That said, it's still early days and they're still experimenting with it, and it still may well be the future of YouTube. It's something they keep on trying with. So I haven't got a green for that, but I don't want that anyways, and because I'm with full screen, I don't get that automatically. Content ID, this isn't the place to explain this, but Content ID, as I mentioned briefly earlier, is where you have some music or something from someone else, or somebody's you've used somebody else's music or a bit of footage or something you shouldn't have done that's their copyright, and this is an easy way of appealing that, and if you either get it taken down or lose your account, or you win the claim. Hopefully you win the claim, or hopefully you don't actually get it wrong in the first place. You don't do anything to break copyright. Unlisted and private videos, you can have videos unlisted or private. That's again a special feature for people once they've had the account for a while and they're in good standing. A new thing, and I've not covered it so far in the course, and maybe I do that as a future video if there's enough interest, but live events allows you to broadcast live. There are lots of features and things there. Quite complicated to set up, which is one of the reasons I don't do them. The countdown, the setup, and making sure the bandwidth and the codes and everything right is actually quite advanced, but this is something that you can do. So that covers the features part of channel settings. This is channel settings and the defaults, and this is very useful and can save you a lot of time whether you're uploading one video a day or loads. What you can do for future uploads, so this doesn't affect any videos that are currently on your channel, only from ones that you upload after you press the save button today. And you can set the privacy for all films. In theory, I always suggest you have that set as unlisted or private, as automatic first of all. In fact, I'll change that there, because while I've been playing with it, I've resaved that. So my videos are private initially until I've done all the annotations, the keywords, the descriptions, the tags, the thumbnails and so on. So until I do all that, I keep them private. The categories, you can choose which category your films go in. That saves you doing it every time you upload a video. The license, whether it's standard or Creative Commons. If you have a standard title or some keywords that you use all the time in the description, you can put those in there. And I've used an example here in tags, North Korea documentary, which we mentioned a few times in this course. I put that in inverted commas. That will always appear as a tag. So you can set those up as you want, set them up in advance, but if you've got a particular keyword, so if you're into making fashion watches, an example I've used in this course, put fashion watches colon there and in here and down here, and that will save you typing it in. It's also a memory of doing that. Now allow comments all, so you can set that to all, or you can just approve them. And you can also set whether users can view ratings for this video. Let me stress again that everything you set here, these settings can be overridden on individual videos. This is for advertising. Again, yours may differ whether you allow advertising or not, depending on any partnerships you've got. As you can see, I can create, as well as overlay adverts, true view, that's adverts that interrupt the film and a play so far in, and standard in-stream ads, post and whatever, all sorts of things there. And also I can do ads up to 30 seconds in length. Okay, so all those, if you may not have those, may differ from your case, but give you some idea of what I can do. You can set captions if stuff has been on TV. We don't need to do that. This is quite useful. Show video improvements. One of the things that Google has enormous power of is to make your video more stabilized, or better colors, or all the various features that we've seen in the course. And often when you've uploaded a film, they may decide it's a bit shaky or that it's not very bright and so on, and they will pop up, this video may be shaky or not bright, would you like us to improve it? And they'll show you the before and after, and you can decide what to do. Very important, one of the things that often gets missed is video location, and this is very easy to do. All you need to do is press the search button, you need to type in a town or an area where your film is made, press the search, and then you can position it exactly on a map, and you get a northing and an easting. I'm doing that from my geography days, remember, that's right, that sounds correct. It gives you a mathematical location to a very small part on Earth, and again that can be very useful for people searching for videos about that particular town, that particular area. You might make a travel video on a particular park or whatever, and it gives Google a lot more information about where the film is made. In this particular case, that is settings for Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, incidentally. Now, I don't make video statistics on the watch page publicly visible. People can see how many videos I've got, they can see how many likes a video's had, they can see how many views a video has got, but I don't make individual statistics publicly visible. You can turn this on or off from here as you wish, your decision, but I don't do that. So again, that's the defaults for uploads. That can save you a load of time on each film, make life a lot easier for you, and frankly it prevents you from making mistakes as well. I'll just remember to save that now as I've changed that. That goes away and saved, and I get the big green signal there. Your changes were saved, and there it all is. It's pen and paper time, folks. You really need to concentrate on this film. This is one of the most important ones you'll come across. It's fantastic for getting more views, more subscribers, making more money. Absolutely essential you understand this. Very few people do, I'm delighted to say, because then they're less competitive, but I'm telling you all about it. This is two features called in-video programming. The first one is a branding watermark. Now, one of the problems on YouTube is people nicking your videos. If they do, then it's very easy to get them taken down, and they do that within minutes normally. But you can use the branding watermark to your advantage. In my case, I've had this little logo designed here at Fiverr.com, and it's got the YouTube play button and the word subscribe. Now the scale here is slightly wrong, it's about a quarter of that size in real life, but if you look at any of my films, that appears through the entire video all the way through, and I've got it set here so that if anybody mouses over that, they can see my channel name and they can see how many subscribers I've got. This is just a preview, so it doesn't work here. If they click it, it takes them, in this case I've got it set to go to my channel page, my home page if you like, and the option then to subscribe to my videos pops up. Now people who, if they watch my film and they like it, it's a nice easy way to get them to subscribe. It's quite non-intrusive, but you can put your logo there, your name, all sorts of things. I've experimented enormously, particularly over the last 9-10 months with this, and that, a simple subscribe button, something that's obvious like that, has beaten everything. Well, it bet the previous thing, which was a logo of my face, by about 11 to 1, so 11 times as many subscribers per viewers. That's just soared my subscribers. That's a simple thing like that. The other thing you can have is popping up towards the end of your video is a thing that slides in. I've got it set for the last 15 seconds of every video. You can change the wording and change what comes up. I've got it set to the end of my video, and as the video gets to 15 seconds from the end, it comes up here, and recommended by Alan Hill, the playlist, in this case my North Korea documentaries playlist, comes up. So if somebody hasn't decided to watch the films, or doesn't know what to do, or isn't sure about going on the playlist, or is likely that all this film's coming to an end, I'll go to the next one, this slides in and shows them, well, it tells them exactly what they should do, quite frankly, which is click on that and see the rest of the playlist. You've got a whole series of options in here when you remove this and play with it. Lots of things you can do, but both of those together can make a huge difference to the number of people watching your films, to likes, dislikes, subscribes. You can make these to do pretty much anything you like, and you really need to do that. If you don't do it, you're crazy. Run back over this video, please. Just look at those features again. Not only do you need to put them on your future videos, but it'll make a heck of a difference if you go back and add those to your old videos. If you add them in here, it adds to everything automatically, so really easy thing to do. Never forget about updating your old videos. Have a look through where you want to send people after they watch this film. Never forget that you want to get people to subscribe or thumbs up or whatever you want to do. Generally, subscribe is the best thing to do. So that's in video programming under channel settings, something that's absolutely crucial. Now this is a very exciting new feature from YouTube, and this is from your channel page, if you like, is your home page. What you need to do here is to do a video that promotes your channel. That video must be around about 30 seconds, must catch people in the first 5 seconds, I'll explain why in a second, and must be telling people about your channel. So when people come to your home page, if somebody isn't subscribed to your channel, this is the video that will appear. If they are subscribed, they won't see it. Now the great thing about it, you can see your channel ad will be reviewed shortly and it's queued. What YouTube is doing with these is they are running these as adverts on other people's channels. They pay the cost of the advertising. Yes, I'll say that again. They're paying the cost of the advertising. This is available to anybody now, as long as your account's in good standing. Make a nice video that talks about your channel, explains what's happening. Make the first 5 seconds interesting, because if you remember, when you see an advert before a film on YouTube, you have to watch the first 5 seconds and then you can click and go straight to the film. So if you make the first 5 seconds compelling, interesting, make people want to see your film, then you've got a situation where people can be watching other people's films, can see your trailer, click on that, that will open a new window, and they may well then watch the rest of your film, subscribe and become a lifelong fan. You can select which advert you want. There's various terms and conditions there. Absolutely crucial. It might take a bit of time to make the film there. If you're not an expert filmmaker, get something done at fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, or just use one of your best films. But really, a trailer, just like they have on TV, showing some of your features is by far the best way of doing that. YouTube will pay the advertising money, they'll show that around the place, they will approve that. That'll bring you a lot of new subscribers. This is quite a complicated page, but I'll show you the outline of it, and this is the advanced section of channel settings. You can set the picture that you want, obviously the name of your channel, what country you're set in, any keywords. This is a great way of telling Google what your channel's about. So many people miss this out. Allow adverts to be displayed, AdWords and channel recommendations and Google Analytics and so on. I'm going to scroll back up there because obviously YouTube doesn't like me publishing some of those figures, but the whole page will allow you to do lots of advanced setup. The most important takeaway from this is you must have something in channel keywords. For this particular channel, and I have several channels as you probably know, but North Korea documentary channel, that is a massive link to Google telling what about. Think of it in terms, if you had an internet page, that would be the title of your page. So that's very, very important that you have that. If you make any changes there, you must press the save button. Make sure you do that, set your country up, set everything else right. Any problems there, that changes your channel here on forwards. It makes life a lot easier, and also the picture of you there. That tends to be linked instantly to your Google Plus image these days, so it's less important, but they just haven't updated that yet. YouTube Analytics. Now YouTube Analytics, it says here, is your channel's pulse. Helps uncover key channel insights based on real viewer data and the content they engage with most. It's important to remember it's never too early and never too late to start looking at your analytics. YouTube Analytics is for everyone, should be used regardless whether you're just starting out or you're a real expert at making movies. You can use YouTube Analytics not only on your newest videos, but also to analyze performance data from your older videos, and that can help with your future content programming and audience development strategies. So how do I build a large and loyal audience? Well, the first thing is know who your viewers are. Understanding your repeat viewers enables you to more confidently create content they'll love and come back for time and time again. So does the current age, gender and location of your viewers match up with your ideal target audience? If not, you may consider recrafting your content and promotion strategies to help and attract the audiences that you want most. And we cover this in one of the videos. You need to know where viewers are finding your videos. Here's some samples here, and we'll look at some real life samples in a moment. But understand which traffic sources and playback locations drive the most views to your content, and look at the watch time of each source. Sources that give a disproportionately high amount of watch time indicate an engaged audience, and that should influence your blog outreach and your social media strategy. I say we'll look at real life figures in a moment. Knowing what makes viewers come and go. Now, understanding how audiences interact with your content can help uncover quite invaluable patterns, and they empower you to create even more engaging content. Videos with low audience retention rates are far less likely to be seen in search and suggested placements on YouTube, so you must create a viewing experience that causes audience to watch as much of your video as possible. Do you know why audiences watch certain videos to the end while abandoning others in the first few seconds? You also need to know how many videos each viewer consumes. Great word. Understanding what causes viewers to enjoy multiple videos on a visit can help you work smarter and not harder. That's because engaging existing audiences is much easier than attracting entirely new ones, so it's important to extend the viewing session for those viewers that you have got. Do you know which day viewers are most likely to visit your channel? Which videos they enjoy watching most? Looking at audience engagement, you need to know why your viewers subscribe. Understanding what causes people to subscribe can help you convert more casual viewers into loyal subscribers. Do you know which videos are causing people to subscribe? Is your programming strategy geared towards those subscribers? By watching more of this part of the course, you'll be able to answer that. Often missed out, but you need to know how effective your annotations are. We cover annotations in depth for a very good reason. They work and they bring more views, more subscribers, more income. Annotations are a powerful way to engage viewers and direct them to continue watching more of your videos. Viewers have lots of videos to choose from on YouTube. Adding and optimizing annotations on your videos, therefore, can help keep your viewers longer and convert them into long-term subscribers. How do fans interact with your videos? Understanding which videos your audience interacts with can help you craft more successful content and promotional strategies. You can examine the likes, dislikes, comments and sharing on standout videos to understand what type of content is best for your audience. Which do they like best? Thank you very much indeed for wanting to watch this YouTube Analytics course, and the reason I say thank you very much is quite genuine, because I do spend rather a lot of time teaching people how to use YouTube in an effective and profitable way. When I get to the bit about YouTube Analytics, people's eyes glaze over. They go, oh, I don't want to do this, and they don't really want to learn it, and you do, and it used to annoy me, I'll be quite honest about it. I suddenly realised then that in any business, analysis, I knew I was going to have trouble with that word, analysis is always a problem, but it's an essential problem. You must look at where your sales are coming from, who's buying your stuff, what sells and what doesn't, and it's no different from running a high street shop and seeing what sells, what people are asking for and so on, than analysing your YouTube stats. And I used to get annoyed, then I realised the people who don't bother to look at the analysis, who don't bother to analyse the figures, they tend to be less successful, and that leaves more money for the rest of us. So that's the reason I say thank you. Genuinely, people do miss out. Now, this rather large screen showing you here, this is one of my YouTube accounts. We're showing a month here. We've got some details in my videos and so on. And this is the basic screen where we start off when we're in analytics, coming to overview over here on the left. My mug there staring at you. You can break down for individual videos, we'll come to that. You can search for locations, you can change dates, and there's all sorts of reports here. You've got this week, and this week is from the Sunday just gone to today, but remember that today doesn't count because the last day or two won't always show. So it's sort of Sunday to when they last updated the stats, which can be a day or two behind. Last week is the last calendar week, that is to say from a week last Sunday to a week last Saturday. The last 7 days, probably self-explanatory. Then you can look at this month, last month, the last 30 days, the current quarter, the last 90 days, and so on. And at the bottom you've got a customized range, which you just pop in here. You can choose whichever dates that you want. So that's how we've come out with this. So here we are, we've got a full month here, and you can see here, first thing you can see is that I had 870,226 views in that month, followed by a dreaded red triangle. Now, you don't want a red triangle, do you? No, you don't, because if you look by going over that, you can see that big message box that pops up down here, and you can see during that period, although I had 870,000 views, that was actually 3.37% drop in number of views on the previous month, and that's pretty bad. I want my views to increase, don't I? Well, the reason I've shown you this month is because I put into effect in this period from the end of November all the things that I'm showing you in this course and the other parts of the training that I do here. And I want you to see that actually, although I dropped 3% of views, I got rid of some people I didn't want. You can see here I had 3.8 million minutes watched, which incidentally is 7 years, 135 days. Thank you, YouTube. That's one bit of analysis that actually it quite pleases me. It's not really boring. I was going to say it was boring, but it's quite fun. But you can see that that was actually 13.78% extra minutes watched compared with the previous month. Now remember that the amount of people who watched my videos dropped by 3.5% roughly, but the number of minutes went up by nearly 14%. So don't just look at your performance in terms of views in isolation, which is the mistake that most people do. Oh, my views are down, what am I going to do? Actually, there's a lot more things affect how much you earn, how successful you are, than views. Because you can have 1 million views, they might only watch the first 10 seconds of your video and go, ugh, don't like this, turned off, still registered as a view. They've gone back, watched somebody else, look at me, I've got 1 million views. Not a lot of good if they're only watching 10 minutes, not only because they're not going to actually make you any money, they don't look at your product or whatever, but YouTube's going to say, hey, hang on, this video is not very good, we've got a lot of data here, 1 million people have watched it, and they've only watched it for 10 seconds, obviously not very good, and they're not going to promote it, and that's part of the reason for looking at all this analysis. And so we've got a green triangle, hooray, 3.8 million minutes, 7 years. But look at this, there's the earnings for the same period, and you can see that has doubled, it's up 100%. So even though, I'm going to labour the point, views are down, what was it, 3.5% nearly, the actual number of minutes, so the total period the videos have been watched has gone up by 13%. We've had a 100%, a doubling of the actual amount earned. So again, don't look in isolation just at views, sorry. You need to look at minutes and look at how much you've earned. You also then need to start to look down to a breakdown of how that comes. And we've got lots of greens here, we like this. So the number of people who liked my videos is up 52%. I've done some work there which I'll reveal to you that how people like it. My dislikes are also up. Now, in normally thing, if people don't like your video, that's really bad. I have to say on this particular channel, lots of the videos are a little bit tongue-in-cheek and satirical, and lots of people think they're genuine. And as a result, they click dislike. The interesting thing is, of course, that Google sees that people are actually taking action on the video. Add those two together, you've got over 2,000 engagements. People have engaged with the video. It's a strange word, I know. But 2,000 people actually watched it and liked it strongly enough to press thumbs up, or disliked enough to press thumbs down. And 3,000 people, even more than that, have actually made comments. And you can see there, because I've just clicked the screen, let me just go back one, that of those comments, that's up 66% as well. So I'm engaging with people more, 50% more. I've got more dislikes, nearly 60% more dislikes. 3,000 people have bothered to comment. That's a series of strong messages to Google. Hey, what's happening with this particular guy's channel? his minutes are down. Sorry, his minutes are fantastically up, the views are down, his earnings are up. That's because lots of people have engaged with the video. So I've got a 50% increase in likes, a 60% increase in dislikes, 66% increase in actual people actually taking the time to comment and involve themselves to engage. 425 people have shared the video. This isn't a massive figure, I have to say. It's something I'm really working hard on to try and get people to share it more. I've spoken actually with YouTube about that, and it's one of the things that they need to sort out. It's, in theory, it's very easy to press a button and share to Facebook, Twitter and whatever. In practice, they obviously want you to share to Google +1, and that came in about the time that this particular month's figures are showing, so hopefully that will improve, but I am on to them on that. How many people added it as a favourite video? Up 16%. Subscribers up 61%. That's 1,245 net subscribers gained during the month. So every month I get about 10% of people who subscribe, unsubscribe, desubscribe, whatever the correct word is. So the net subscribers there is 61%. So that's a very quick overview of perhaps a half a page. I hope you've seen from that already that you can get an enormous amount of data that can really help you. More to the point, if you get this data right, it's going to help YouTube, and they're going to help push your videos so they appear on the right hand side. They're going to do marketing of your videos for you, they do advertising of your videos for you, you'll appear on home pages and selected pages and so on. You won't do that if you get 1 million views with 10 seconds, but even if your views are down, your minutes watched are up, your likes are up, your dislikes are up, your comments are up, your shares are up, your favourites are up, your subscribers are up, and your earnings are up as well, which is my favourite bit. So just from that small part of the screen, enormous part of detail, and you can see we're still in the overview. Let's scroll down a wee bit, shall we? Now then, this is just the top 10 videos on my channel, and they're the same on yours. We can browse all the content, won't do that for the moment, but you can do that, and we can see here a shortened version of the title. So this particular film, this is sorted by the number of views, 172,209 views in the month, and that was watched for about 1.6 million minutes, which is quite scary, because if I put my mouse over it like that, you can see that's 3 years and 13 days that effectively that was watched for in 1 month, which is a little bit scary. Earnings at the end there. Earnings are always, they always show as estimated. I should perhaps have made that point. It's not shown there, sorry, but they do say that earnings can vary by a little bit, and sometimes you do get a gap in the earnings and so on. We'll come back to that a little bit later. So from this particular film, if I put the mouse over it, we can see there the actual title of the film. That's on my channel, the date it was created, the day it was first uploaded, how long the film. It's a 43-minute film, so a very long film is that, and the privacy setting is public. We've set it so anybody can watch that, and we can see from the top 10 films there, we can see some of the figures and so on. Let's come down a bit, because I want to come back to that, but I want to show you this bit at the bottom first. Demographics. It's a weird word, is that? I've never really got my head around it properly. This is absolutely crucial that you understand this, because it's all very well getting, 870,000 views, but are they in the marketplace you want? So if you're selling widgets in Oregon, you want the views from United States or from Oregon. If you're doing like I do and relying on the income from advertising here, I want my viewers to be from places like United States, United Kingdom, Canada and Australia. Sadly, in this period, I've had a lot of views from Saudi Arabia, and there's very little advertising for Saudi Arabia, so despite all those views, that's actually cut my income down, because there's not so much advertising, therefore I get a share of that, therefore I don't make as much money. So my films are headed towards the United States, United Kingdom, Canada and Australia. During this particular month I did put one particular video up which got quite a few visitors from Saudi Arabia, and I'm afraid it didn't make me as much money, but they're included in the figures above. Now, gender. You can see in this particular month 84% of my viewers were male in blue, and 16% were female in, I don't think that's pink, that's actually orange, isn't it? I don't know, maybe it's my monitor. Pretty certain that's orange, but we'll pretend it's pink anyway. Now that's actually quite interesting. We show you, and I'm happy to talk on other videos about how your market is reached. So we've got the example in one of the videos of the lady who just does hairstyling, and she gets $1 million a year from that, and obviously her market will be female. Very few males interested in ladies hairdressing, certainly in terms of daughters and so on, and will be of a certain age. Well, we can tell from this that my gender is 84% male, 16% female, and the stuff that I do on this particular channel is male orientated. I can also tell in general from this, the YouTube watch page, which I go through, that's where most of my videos come from, most of my views come from, sorry. It's 4% of that's embedded on other sites and so on. We'll break this down, and we can also see where my traffic comes from. Now here's an amazing figure. This is for my videos for this month. 76% of my views came from being referred by YouTube. In other words, because I've got the other things right, YouTube is happy to recommend my film. That will appear on the right hand side of a view page, or when you get to the end of a movie, there's about 12 movies appear, and those are often mine. And if that's mine, then more people are likely to click on those. YouTube also send emails out on a regular basis with recommended films based on the films that you've watched. And again, you can see that 76% of my views have come that way. What I'm going to do, just to break that down a bit further, let's take the top film here. Just click on that, give that a few seconds for YouTube to do its magic. Now we're only looking here at this particular film. This box here tells me that. If I delete the cross there, or press the cross rather, that will show me everything. So I'm only showing this one film. Crucial you get that, because it does get confusing sometimes. Looking at the same period, I haven't changed anything there. I've purely selected this one film. It shows the thumbnail, shows the title, shows the view, shows the length, and so on. Let's have a look at it. We know the 172,000 views, that's up 76%. We know the minutes is up by 90%, and we know the earnings is up by 131%. You can tell that the stuff I've put into operation, which I'm showing you on this course, is obviously working. Likes are up, dislikes are up, comments are up, shares are up, favourites are up, subscribers are up. Let's have a look down in a little bit more detail there. I have trouble with that. Top geographies. Let's just click that. Wait for that to come up, and we get a marvellous little chart here. Let's just go back as a line chart, and you can see where the film's being watched, but you can see 34% of those people in the United States. That's good. And of that, those people in the United States, they accounted for 34% of the views and 40% of the watched minutes, which is obviously very crucial. And if we come down, we can see United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Netherlands, Philippines, and so on. And we start to come down here, we've got like a world tour here. 214 countries saw that during the course of the month. Now it's all very well and good, 3 years of that. Is that been worthwhile? Well, as we can see from the earnings and so on, yes, it certainly was. So onwards with the analytics. I've had to skip the two sections here, estimated earnings and ad performance. I can talk about them, but the earnings rules say I can't show you what the breakdown is of earnings in terms of individual pages on a website, or indeed in terms of individual earnings on a video. Sorry about that, not allowed to show you that. You've seen some of the stuff anyway, and you'll see a little bit more, but I can't show you the individual breakdowns of the percentages and so on. They don't allow that. And that's an AdSense rule. Sorry about that, but quite straightforward. Just remember that your earnings are estimated, and they can be updated a day or two later. I tend to find that I get about 5 to 10% extra at the end of the month once they've calculated everything up, just when they're ready to announce the final figures for the month, so that's good. But it can be 1 or 2 days behind is normal, and it has been up to 5 days on occasions where they've made changes and so on to YouTube. So we jump on to our views report now. Remember, in the period that we're looking at, 870,000 views and 3.8 million minutes, which was 7 years, 135 days. And we can see a very simple graph, and we can see that the number of views a day have been between, I don't know, about 20,000 and 43,000. Quite a climb there, and then it drops down. This is Christmas time, or even Christmas Day, is that? There we go, 27,000 and so on, so quite a variation there. And the blue line obviously represents views. But what we can do, we can change to the stats, show them in various periods, but I can also compare here various things. So I can look, for example, how the subscribers went along with that. Take a few seconds, and now we've got views and subscribers, and you can see, generally speaking, the one follows the other. I would imagine that generally speaking, you'd expect as you get more views, you get more subscribers. You've got less views on a day, you'll get less subscribers, and that seems pretty straightforward. Let's compare that with the amount of minutes watched. Change the graph now. You can only have two lines on here on this particular thing at any one stage. Views in blue, estimated minutes watched in this orange colour, and then you can see it's a very similar sort of line there. This scale at the end for the orange is how many minutes watched. So there on that particular day, 32,000 views, which is the blue, sorry, and then orange, 132,000 minutes watched, which is 91 days of viewing on that day. Hope you're following that. We can follow that through, and there's various other metrics that we can consider there. All right. Okay, we looked at subscribers, earnings, and so on, or nothing. So just turn that off. One of the things that you can do is actually change the area here. We're only seeing this white area there. Can you see this is sort of greyed out? But you can get hold of that. You can make that bigger and cover a different time period. You can shorten it down to look at a shorter period, and so on. And depending on how you like your analysis, you can see a lot more details on there. Get a multi-line graph, a stacked area, which I hate. But what is interesting is you can get a map, and you can see from this, it's in blue. The darker the blue, the more people watched your videos. Remember, this is looking at all the videos. So for the United States, 285,000 views. For Canada, 52,000. UK, 68,000. India, 16,000. I think it was 19,000, was it? Sorry, 16,000, yeah. And 23,000 Australia. So, and obviously more metrics there. You can look at what you've earned for each country, how many playbacks, how many subscribers for each country, and so on and so forth. Let's go back to the original, because frankly all that's not very helpful unless you look at individual videos. Obviously yours will vary, but look at these things, look at how you're doing there. The more detail you've got, the more analysis you got, the more you can tell. Straight on to demographics. Let's give that a second to come up, because here is just fascinating stuff. You need to know who your marketplace is. Let's assume that you're selling widgets in Oregon again, and all your customers are female in their 20s. Well, you can see the people watching my videos tend to be blue, male, not pink. I think that's orange, actually female. The great majority of my people tend to be between 35 and 65, almost exclusively male, 83% overall, 16% female. Very few people in the 13 to 17 range, very few in the 18 to 24, get a few more in 25 to 34, but the great majority are there. So if I was selling something that was appealing to females, I know that my videos are no good. I need to make some serious changes to them. Very importantly as well, this is a demographic if you're relying on advertising income from your YouTube. This is a very interesting demographic. Most of the people generally believe that most people who watch YouTube tend to be teenagers and whatever, and certainly there's an awful lot of them. But the male market of this age, 35 to 54, is very difficult to reach. They don't watch an enormous amount of TV and so on. They're very difficult to reach from an advertiser's perspective, and that may, again, by looking at that and seeing that's a profitable market to be in, because I know that I'm making money from my YouTube channel, I'm trying to keep so that my comments, my videos, my annotations, descriptions and everything reach that same sort of market. So I speak to that market. I don't speak to girls, I don't even speak to women, I don't speak to senior citizens. I talk generally to males between 35 and 64, and that's my market. That's an overview, and you can see here 84% and 16 female, and you can actually get a breakdown of where each people come from. And just looking here, you can see that's pretty accurate all the way through. Although the actual number of views differ, the actual breakdown is about the same. I just have slightly more females watch me in the United States overall than males, whereas in the other countries it tends to be a pretty even split. Sorry, a much higher split for males, not even, which tends to be about even for the rest, but slightly higher there. For overall, the people watching my videos are of that age. The demographics for that I consider are good, because that's the market I want to appeal to. It's also a good market because I get the advertising to it. So just to reiterate, if you're selling something, you're producing something on your videos, you must check this and make sure that it's all right getting, again, 1 million views, 100 views, it doesn't matter. If they're of the wrong sex or the wrong age of the people that you want, they're not much good. By the same token, if they're not from the same countries that you're targeting. So here I do target United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Germany and so on. Saudi Arabia, interesting, 24,000 views from that. But most of those, my viewers come from the United States. And as you can see, the age range there generally from the United States is 45 to 65. That's with the older profile there, 17%, a bit lower than that. It can be very useful. They only show you the top 10 locations, incidentally, so you can only see the top 10 countries broken down like that. That's enough. That covers by far the great majority of your viewers, so that's absolutely fine. to playback locations now. Just going to turn that back to the line chart again. And this, I hope, will blow you away. That's certainly my intention, to be perfectly honest. There's a chart of the views each day in this period, and you can see it's varied 40,000, 43,000, 20,000 I think was the low then. You can see how much it can change over a couple of days. Where have those people come from? Well, the great majority have come from the YouTube watch page, actually come from the YouTube page, and they've watched my actual films. Embedded players on the website's 4%, YouTube, other YouTube channel page, quite small figures that we can dispense with them. Okay. What I want to do is to jump straight onto something that will perhaps analyse that a little bit better. That's traffic sources. Where have all these people come from? Again, I'll go back to line chart, as you can see, same graph, same figures, where have they come from? 58% of my views, 61% of the minutes watched have come from this, which is a YouTube suggested video. A YouTube suggested video is a video that YouTube have suggested that people watch. That will come from the emails that people send out to people. They'll come from the first page or login pages and so on from YouTube, where videos are listed. They will come from the right hand side. When you're watching a video in the middle here, there's what to watch next on the right hand side, and they will come from the videos that appear at the end of your film. When you're watching a film, there's a choice of about a dozen thumbnails there that you can watch, and you can see that YouTube likes my stuff so much because I'm doing everything else right, that 58% of my views, that's over 500,000 people in 1 month, didn't come through anything I did, but through something that YouTube did. YouTube were pushing, promoting, advertising, suggesting my video. 500,000 views, 60% of my actual estimated minutes watched. People coming direct from actually knowing the URL, having it listed somewhere, seeing it recommended, seeing it whatever, clicking across. People searching for the subjects that I've done. This is the important thing about keywords and descriptions. 11%, nearly 100,000 people came from search. They've gone to YouTube, searched for something, and remember that YouTube is accepted as the second largest search engine after Google. And just to remind you, of course, YouTube is owned by Google. Never forget that people go to YouTube and search. They want information. Never ever assume that people only go to YouTube to search for entertainment or cats or whatever. They search for products, they search for documentaries, they search for just about anything you can think of. And you can see there in 1 month, 11% of my views came from people using YouTube to search, and nearly 10% of my total watches at the time there. We get some smaller figures there. We get below 10%, so don't worry too much about these unless they're coming up. The YouTube guide, an embedded player where the video is embedded outside, an external website where the films are embedded. The channel page itself, the importance of setting up your channel, that produced me 12,000 views. YouTube playlists, this is something that I've extended enormously now in this particular month because YouTube have made it more common, and I do stress playlists very much so. Annotations there, look, 5,000, nearly 6,000 views from annotations. Watch my other film on annotations, you'll see how important that is, but 6,000 views from a few seconds work extra on each video. Searching from Google, only 0.3%, but 2,500 views, 10,000 minutes, watching for 4 minutes apiece on average. People just searching Google. So you've got your YouTube search produced me 100,000 views. Google search, people actually saw my videos on Google and the normal listings there, and then watched the video 10,000 minutes, 2,500 times. Other things of YouTube, 1,800 views. Partner promotion and advertising I'll put together. YouTube have just started pushing the trailer that you produce, which again I show you on the channel, which they push out to people. They will see that, they will pay for the advertising for that, and you get the views. And this has just started, but you can see from those last two figures there, it's accounted for about 1,100 of my views for this month. Some astonishing figures there, but you can see the source of the videos. You can sort these as you want. Looking at that, you get a good idea what you're doing right. What that tells me most of all is that what I'm doing is correct. YouTube was quite happy to send over 500,000 people to me because I've got the other things right that I show you in this course.